Europe's strongest man. The biggest one-day contest of strength in the world. Happening in Leeds, England, at the First Direct Arena. But first of all, outside, pulling a bus, as these behemoths do. And the biggest of all has come from Iceland to try and claim his third title. The mighty Thor. Such an explosive, giant man at 6'9", 200 kilos. He won his first Europe's Strongest Man title in 2014, taking on the likes of Eddie the Beast Hall. In the opening event, the deadlift, where Hall may have missed the world record, but showed his worth in the future. And this is when we realized just how powerful Thor could be.
I am the future of strength, and I am King of the Stones!
King of the Stones became King of Europe, and again in 2015, despite an even more impressive challenge by the Beast. The Beast, Eddie Hall. Already world record holder. Yes, he could do it again. 463 kilos for another world record. Bjornsson in the next event sprinted off into the lead, and Hall, exhausted, had to pull out. Bjornsson, 2 titles, surely to win in 2016. But his rival, Eddie Hall, bigger and stronger than ever, turned up and stole the show with the first ever half-ton deadlift attempt. Make that good lift. Hall didn't continue, the mighty Thor did, allowing Laurence Shahlaei anchor for Bjornsson to overtake and take the title.
The Icelandic, so
this modern-day Viking saga starts its next chapter.
First up, it's an 8-ton bus pull here in Leeds, England, for Europe's strongest man. This has to be pulled 20 meters up this course with just human power, no horsepower here. Bill, how difficult is this going to be?
Well, a 20-meter course, you know, it's fairly flat for the first 10 meters. Then it's uphill.
God, if it was downhill, anyone could pull it, it would roll, right? But mass pulls mass. I've done physics, Bill. Surely the heavier guys are going to have some form of advantage.
Right, Hafthor at 420, maybe a little more. Eddie Hall, the same kind of body weight.
32, 33 stone, if you think like that. Certainly helps you get over the initial inertia. But indeed, the rope allows full body power. So everybody should have a shot.
Now this vehicle, Paul, is a wonderful old double-decker bus. First up was the Latvian Dainis Zageris, 16.4 meters. Then it was the turn of the Scotsman, Luke Stoltman, a little bit further, 16.55. Good to see a very strong German back at the top, and it's Raffael Gordzielik, 14.65 meters. That was no surprise, but this gave us a shock. The returning Europe's strongest man, Shahlaei, 17.18 meters. Problems, perhaps? Not this man, though. Matjaz Belsak, 18.65 meters, for Slovenia's finest. The rugby coach, former professional winger, now coaches Harlequins, Adam Bishop, 15.3 meters. A former rugby player, Konstantine Janashia, again, 18.5 meters, the bull. Well, the Lancashire bull himself, Mark Felix, 16.25, staggering around at the end. Just messed up his technique a little bit. 51 years old, it's pretty impressive. So then, we join the action. Big Terry Hollands, 37 years old, 9 times a world's strongest man finalist. And in those 9 world's strongest man finals, Terry certainly won over 50% of the pulls in the final. He'd have a claim to be the best puller in the world, and this is why. Perhaps the rugby background, he's not stopping at all here, keeping low, driving hard. He's got on those rock climbing boots, of course, which help with the friction. There's quite a bit of money getting raised in this first event as well for charity. The First Direct Bank helping sponsor that here in their car park. And will Terry get over the line? He's awful close. Oh goodness, he could be left dangling on the end of the rope. I think it'll be the furthest so far, however. 5 seconds to go. That's time. Still no finisher. Terry Hollands, 19.57 meters. Just over 40 centimeters from that finish line. And, well, who will finish? Perhaps Eddie Hall, he's got the bulk. So too Hafthor Bjornsson. Hall it is first.
Here we go. Eddie Hall goes next.
The man from Stoke-on-Trent in Staffordshire, England. He's won Britain's Strongest Man 4 times now. That's a record in a row as well. Really looking to take this first major all-round title. He's won the World Deadlift Championships. He has that World Deadlift record. But he'd like to show off that he is a multi-eventer, an all-rounder. And the Beast, as he's known, is certainly beasting up this course. Gosh, he's quicker than Terry to there, but he's slowing down quicker too. Just over 30 seconds. And a 2-footed drive to try and keep it going. That momentum, once it goes, you're in a world of hurt. And even the Beast isn't pulling you out of it. I'm not sure it's moving at all now. Caught on that balance point on the hill, which you just needed the bus to be rolling with you to get it up. So, 19.15 meters for Hall. He is behind Hollands. Disappointing for him. He wanted to finish this so badly. Maybe even challenge Bjornsson, who is still to come. The very likely winner here. Look at those mighty arms of Hall. The damaged finger, the world's strongest man last year. Not causing him any problems on the rope, at least. Now then, Stefan Solby Pettersson, his friend and coach, just making sure he's all right. As the Giants Live referee team of Darren Sadler and Dave Warner take over. Well, if he looks enormous, he's not CGI'd, but Hafthor Julius Bjornsson from Iceland is indeed 6'9", nearly 200 kilos, and my goodness me, charging down the course here, step after step, the hands in unison. This is brilliant stuff from Bjornsson. He's out of first gear and into second, make that third, as he comes up this little hill at the end that no one has gone past. And he too slows, but does just get it. My goodness me. Relief for Bjornsson. I think if it was another 30 centimeters on, he wouldn't have done that. But he is the only man to finish with a time. Bjornsson, winner in bus pull. And he's had some problems recently.
So who's the king of Europe this year after that performance in the bus pull?
I am!
I am, he says.
There you go.
He's got a virus called Bell's palsy, which has affected his face, but it certainly hasn't affected his power. Great pulling from the Icelander. First place at the moment then, in the lead. On the way to his 3rd title, or he hopes anyway. As for Shahlaei, down in 6th place, defending that title. Hollands in 2nd, Hall in 3rd position. As we move inside the first direct arena. Time for the big show, not the horror show. Yes, 5 more events in Europe's Strongest Man after the break. Welcome back to the first direct arena. Europe's Strongest Man. That's worth clapping about, as Raffael Gordzielik of Germany makes his way into the arena.
Ladies and gentlemen,
nearly 12,000 fans here as the rugby player out of Bishop enters what feels like a party was about to turn into a war. Janashia of Georgia. Stoltman, the Scotsman, representing Britain. Zageris, former football player, turned strongman. Belsak, the carpenter, turned superstar strongman from Slovenia. Mark Felix, huge fan favorite at 51 years old.
Mr. Terry Holland!
From England, another giant of strength, Terry Holland there. And how about the mountain from Game of Thrones? Hafthor Bjornsson leads the contest after one event. But when it comes to lifting big, he is the best. The beast takes no prisoners. That famous half-ton lift here last year.
And defending champion, Laurence!
And it was a year of surprises.
This is the
as the king returns. Laurence Shahlaei.
2017, raise it up for these
What
guys.
a year he had. Certainly wasn't always that way.
2012 was the first real serious injury that I had. I kind of ended up tearing my labrum in my right shoulder. I tore my lat at Europe's Strongest Man, tore my tricep at World's Strongest Man. I've had multiple tears in my quads and hamstrings, and eventually I just had to miss out a few years of shows and really sort myself out. Came in quite quiet last year, no one was talking about me.
Back from injury.
Third of Europe's Strongest Man back in 2012. A lot of people think his better days are behind him, but Shahlei's talked a good game before this, and he's doing it.
And obviously ended up winning, so to kind of come back from all that and then win was just an amazing achievement for myself.
In my eyes, I saw Thor as unbeatable last year, and somehow Laurence pipped him to the title. You know, he won that title fair and square, but Thor made mistakes.
Now, hey, Bjornsson's holding it a little strangely on the inner handles. That's not good.
And I don't think he's going to be making the same mistakes again this year. I mean, it's fierce competition. You know, it really is. We've got some new players on the scene. We've got Konstantine, big Georgian.
Oh yeah, Konstantine Janashia!
We've got Terry back on the scene.
The new and improved Terry Hollands.
Thor.
If you are a Viking, then you are a Viking.
Laurence.
He's got tremendous power and endurance.
It's going to be a battle. In my honest opinion, it's going to be between me and Thor. We're both on par. We're both in the top 3 in the world. It's ours to lose, basically. Who's going to win it? You know, I can't hand on heart say I'm going to win Europe's Strongest Man easily or at all. But you know, I'm here. I'm going to try my damn hardest. If I didn't think I could win it, I wouldn't be here.
Event number 2 is Max Axle. That's right. It's based on a railway axle, 160 kilos, around about 350 pounds, the opening weights. Kaz, not that easy, is it?
It really isn't. It's going to take a lot of leg power, hip power, low back power, with legs, maybe without legs, but it's going to be really difficult to lock out and hold for the referee's down signal.
Well, it's not a problem for Kaz. He's got hands like a bunch of bananas, but for an average bloke, that's about as thick as a Coke can, so it makes it awful difficult to get it to your shoulders. Let's see how they get on.
Well, this axle's so awkward. Zageris failed the opener at 160 kilos. That's 350 pounds. Terry Hollands, good tricep power, locked out 160, but failed 180. Round 2 also took Stoltman, but he was happy with his 160. Mark Felix isn't exactly king of the presses. He was pretty happy with 160 as well. Adam Bishop in the opener at 160, but then popped what we think is his bicep to 180. That pace says it all. Gordzielik rising to the occasion in his first big international. Good lift at 160, but not a 180. Janashia did 180. Boy, did we hear about it. Sadly, failing 200. So still to go at 200 kilograms. Laurence Shahlaei, Matjaz Belsak, Eddie the Beast Hall, and Hafthor Bjornsson. So Europe's strongest man, 2016, the reigning champion. Not so hot in the truck pull earlier today. Now, what's his static power like? 440 pounds, it's more than Bjornsson overhead. Oh, he looks a little dizzy, you know.
What an unbelievable recovery.
Gosh, that's it. He's had to bow out. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that. So, Matjaz Belsak from Ljubljana in Slovenia. He is so deceptive, so explosive an athlete. You've seen it before. 200 kilos onto the power belly, up to the chest. Can he be the first to go clear? Listen to the crowd if he does it. Ooh, a bit of a wobble on there. Oh, yes. That was more of an old-fashioned press, where a cheating press, if you like, where you lean back and just bench it up. It's made it all the more impressive. Yes, indeed. Wow, how far can he go? There's at least 10 or 15 more there, I think, and the world record is indeed 215 kilos. Done by Zageris. He's in the crowd watching. Will his world record be under threat? Eddie the Beast, perhaps the best shoulders of all if Zageris isn't here. Pretty easy to the chest, and well, no legs at all. Not sure that's the most sensible, because he just got stuck halfway up. His right arm popped out and then his left, but that's quite legal. This isn't a clean and jerk style competition like the Olympics, and the Icelanders are in good form. Certainly put a show on with the drums. Can't hear you, says Big Thor. As this British crowd have certainly taken to him. 2 times Europe's strongest man, but he does not have that title at the moment. He's never won world's strongest man either. Some would say the strongest man never to have won it. 200 kilos. To hit it overhead and join Belsak. Oh my goodness me. Mikey, he nearly took the whole backdrop down there. So no down signal from the head referee, but time is on his side. You have 1 minute to get it up, unless the referee thinks you're attempting something dangerous, and then he can stop you. And it is Magnus Magnusson, who's also of Iceland, but considered to be the best referee in the world. He's not exactly one to give away freebies, so Thor had best lock this out. Yes, he does. Bjornsson also goes clear. 3 men clear at 200 kilograms. Wow.
If you are a Viking, then you are a Viking. A warrior knows no quit.
Look at the power. And when he hit it and hit it right, it was perhaps the cleanest of all the lifts. So, 206 kilos is what's called for next. And it looks like Belsak has skipped 206. So, he's either playing games, he might be out, or maybe he's going on for something heavier. Hall, though, playing sensible. He's had some pain in his left shoulder. He's had an MRI. It's scar tissue, but you couldn't tell there. That was easy enough, wasn't it? Goodness me. 206, the British record is Eddie Hall's. Up to the chest. And that was a lot easier looking than 200. Cool out the back. There's Thor's dad, who's also up near 7 foot tall. Currently in first place, of course, after that bus pull in the car park earlier. Now, his mighty mitts lock onto the axle. He spent a lot of energy on the previous lift to his chest. Leans back, gets his body into it. Oh my goodness. Well, 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 an Icelandic record. Hafthor Julius Bjornsson, 206 kilograms. Well over 450 pounds. And that's a very impressive clean and jerk if you know your Olympic weightlifting. Bullies are up in the end. Oh my goodness, 216 kilos. It is the world record that's been called for by Belsak, who gets a friendly slap off the Georgian. His co-competitor Janashia there. Wow. So we have 3 men who could pull this. This just got very exciting very quickly. Breath in. He's the shortest of the 3, which probably helps. He's not done 206 kilos. He's had a long rest. Come on, Matjaz. Oh! Just by a whisker, he couldn't get it to his chest. If he got it up there, I'll almost certainly press it. Now then, Eddie Hall follows on after this. Just too long on his chest and couldn't breathe, you see. And when he finally almost got it there, yeah, nothing inside his lungs to do it with. The Beast. Eddie the Beast Hall. He's no stranger to world records, but even for him, this is a big jump, 10 kilos, after just going up by 6 kilos previously. This is the half-ton deadlift here a year ago. He can do the impossible. He's shown he's got the strongest back in the world. How about the strongest shoulders? You bet he does. Oh, my goodness me. They're on their feet. Over 11,000 fans, and he delivers.
The arena is full, and you are full of rage, and that looked like you had more left in the tank.
For sure, man. I'm not done yet. There's a lot more events to go. And one thing I will say, don't ever, ever put a limit on what I can do, because I will prove you wrong every single time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the is Eddie Hall.
Well, we've seen yet another world record by Eddie Hall. This time it comes from his upper body, as strong as his lower. And the Beast looks almost unstoppable in those types of exercises, but Bjornsson hanging close to him. Belsak not taking 206 means Bjornsson gets second, and the world record for Eddie Hall actually only takes him up to second place. Bjornsson by 1 point is in the lead. Belsak in third.
Event number 3, tire flip and chain and anchor drag. A little bit old school. You got to flip this 450 kilogram tire, that's basically 1,000 pounds, 4 times down the course, and then pick up or drag the chain and anchor all the way back down the 20 meters. Terry, they give you 75 seconds for a reason, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really tough event. Guys are starting to get a bit fatigued from the events previous to this now, and hopefully it's a good event for me.
Right, the old jelly legs at 60 seconds. Let's see who gets it. Let's see who wins. Cheesy Grintel, come on, mate, you can do it.
Terry Hollands, not exactly Hollywood Hollands. Well, Zageris against Gordzielik. Gordzielik, 62 seconds. As for Zageris, 53.3, just pipping him. That last stumble by Gordzielik costing him a lot of time. Stoltman against Felix, the next pair. Stolters, 40.19 seconds. That put him in the lead at that point, and Felix, 42.27. So we join the action with Laurence Shahlaei. The strongest man reigning. Not having the best day so far. Big tell. Second place at Europe's strongest man back in 2010 at Wembley Arena. And over these giant tyres go. There used to be a real rivalry. There still is sporting-wise between these two, but in every way. Before they really disliked each other, though. I think with Eddie Hall eclipsing both of them in recent times, they've become a lot friendlier, and this is really tight, though. This is just like the old days. Big Terry Hollands, the former rugby player, is driving towards the line, and look at the clock, 33-34. It's going to be a solid time by Hollands, 35-66, and Shahlaei just behind, 38-51. You improved Terry Hollands. I like that. Bill Kazmaier, the MC on hand, talking about how Terry slimmed down. Matjaz Belsak, 1m85, which is fairly short for a top-class strongman. Janashia, the giant Georgian, the Georgian bull, if you like.
On the way we go.
Belsak closest to our camera here, and in the yellow socks, Janashia, the former Georgian rugby player. That's right, played for the national team. And Janashia there does his 4 flips and really drives hard. Oh, too hard though, the comeback from Belsak there. Janashia, he's going fairly slowly. I'm surprised he's not using more body weight here. Perhaps he's not got the best shoes on. Very slippy surface as he crosses the line. Just outside Hollands, but ahead of Shahlaei. As for Belsak, a couple of stumbles and he fumbles, and it cost him 5 or 6 seconds at least, maybe more. He could have won that. He was moving so quickly. He's a gambler in many ways, Belsak, attacking that at high speed. Beast. Eddie Hall has that deadlift world record of 500 kilos. But when it comes to leverage, biomechanics, general massiveness, Hafthor Bjornsson's your man. Played basketball for Iceland as a junior before just enjoying the weights room a little too much, I think. Now, here we go. It's Hall on the right, closest to camera. And on the far side, of course, Bjornsson, who's getting ahead here. He's taken half a tire flip out of Hall so far. Now, can the Brit catch this up? This is so good. Oh, no way, you kidding me? Going through the gears, there's Bjornsson. I thought the lower squatter weight of Eddie Hall might just pull this back, but not a chance. 29.06, smoking the opposition there, Bjornsson. Wow, that was a Europe's strongest man performance, if ever I've seen one. Eddie Hall just a little gutted there.
Hafthor Bjornsson, totally amazing start. How did it feel to you?
This is not a beauty contest. This is Strongman. I don't care if I'm sick, paralyzed, but can't breathe. I'm here to make a great show for you guys. Thank you.
What a line. This is no beauty contest, it's a strongman contest. Something else from a man who's an actor as well. The mountain, Hafthor Julius Bjornsson wins over Terry Hollands. Hall is third there, Janashia fourth. That means the advantage now, 3 points to Hafthor Bjornsson as he heads towards his third title. Hall in third, a point and a half ahead of Janashia. Oh, we get ready for the deadlift for reps next. 362.5 kilos, 800 pounds, 60 seconds. Most reps wins. Luke Stoltman, first man out, 1 rep. 1 rep at 800 pounds, not too bad though. Gordzielik, 3 reps, the German, picking up a little bit of momentum. As for Zageris, 4 for the Latvian. Matjaz Belsak, 3 reps and a stagger. Felix, the rep machine, 7. We join the action with Konstantine Janashia. Eddie the Beast Hall, always surrounded by fans. Strapped on, you're allowed straps in Strongman. Reps to beat, 7. Mark Felix, then it's Janashia, who's surprisingly lifting quicker here. But when Hall starts to lift, watch how quick he pulls. Very quick indeed. And Janashia's slower at the top. That is power right there from Eddie Hall, who's of course done 500 kilos. This is a percent of his personal best, is a lot smaller than anyone else's. He's equal Felix, 30 seconds to go. There's 8. How many more? He has Hollands and Bjornsson still to come. Janashia takes a break. So he's watching the Beast pull another one. There's 9 reps at 362.5. Gosh, could he do a double figures? I don't see the Beast fail a rep often, but that took it out of him. That was hard work. Janashia, 6 reps. Very impressive still, just behind Felix, but this man, Eddie Hall, had to work for that 10 at 800 pounds.
Eddie, 10 repetitions. This was a do or die situation for you. 10 reps, is that beatable or is that the win?
That's the win. That's the win.
Eddie, you look like you're suffering from the pace of the event, as so many of these athletes are. How much more have you left in the tank?
Well, not much, but all the athletes are the same. I think we're all dropping like flies behind the scenes. But there are 2 more events to go. I'm going for it, baby. I'm going for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie, the Beast Hall!
Certainly looking in good shape, Eddie Hall there. He caught his breath back pretty quickly. Now, final pairing, Hathor Bjornsson leads the competition. Terry Hollands, who's definitely found his mojo again. Look at this. What a scene. A sea of people. 2 of the most powerful men on the planet. Bjornsson on the left. Hollands on the right, who looks short at 6'6". Surely neither of these 2 men who are so tall can get anywhere near 10 reps. That's a ludicrous amount of weight to shift in a minute. Though Bjornsson is very fit and looking strong. Yes. 6 reps, 1 more for Bjornsson to equal Felix, and that will be key to keeping close to Hall on points. He's done it, 2nd equal. And the Icelanders behind him shout stop. Quite right. Hollands now on 4. Oh yes, well done Terry Hollands, a grinder, and deserved it. A little cramp for Terry. He might be getting slimmer, but he's always cramped a lot in these one-day shows. Bjornsson, 2nd place on his own, outright. Not sharing the points with Felix. Most impressive. 2 such tall men. Wow. Quite a face and quite a pull. Terry Hollands then, 5 reps, gets him 5th place, just behind Janashia. Felix, as we said, 3rd, beaten by 1 rep by Bjornsson. Eddie Hall out on top by 2 reps, but at what cost? Certainly took it out of him. Now 2 points is the difference after 4 events. Hollands in 3rd, only half a point ahead of Janashia to stay on the podium.
Well, next event, it's the car walker, a classic of World's Strongest Man, no, Europe's Strongest Man, 1,000 pounds, if you could pick it up. And I'm not going to because I don't have my knee wraps on. But Magnus, obviously 4 times World's Strongest Man. Of actually all of the events, this is probably just about as technical as they get. It's not as easy as you think, is it?
Well, nothing is easy in Strongman, but this is a hard event because there's a lot of balance involved. If you stumble a little bit, it throws you off and you can go down. But I was around when the first car walks were done, and I mastered it.
You did indeed. I remember you sprinting in South Africa one year with it. It was a Dolly Citroen though, it was lighter. This is 1,000 pounds, how heavy was it?
No, it was much heavier.
Rose tinted glasses, there we go. Hey ho. Right, make a break for Thor last year. Let's see what happens.
First man out, Gordzielik of Germany, 21.5 seconds. His first go at the car walk. Stoltman though, bettered that, 20.2. This just is one of those events that's a bit like truck pulling, certainly plane pulling, but running with a car is on the to-do list for strongmen. Belsak in the black car, Hollands in the white. The Brit closest to camera gets a slightly better start. Which is a little surprising as he's taller, but we know he can carry weights. He showed us that in the past, and whoa! Certainly smoked the previous pairing. It's probably around 14 seconds, maybe quicker. 14.08 it was. Belsak 17.5.
Now, Terry, traditionally, this has been a fabulous event for you. You know the time there, 14 or just over 14. Do you think there's anybody remaining in this field that can beat that here?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough at this point of the competition. It certainly wasn't my quickest time, but good guys still to come, so we'll see. I'll keep my fingers crossed and give it everything I've got on the stones.
Ladies and gentlemen, raise it up for Terry Hall!
Very impressive, Terry Hollands. He's really proved to be able to come back from what we thought was the end of his career. In fact, he retired and started doing television work. Janashia, young and hungry at 26. Felix, a little bit older. Still pretty hungry though at 51. And we're away, and it's Felix who gets off to the quickest start. And when you think about it, 51 years old, it's just remarkable. The Georgian bull getting taught a lesson in driving by Mark Felix, who's going to get to that line first. Felix from Blackburn, England. I don't believe it. He is a miracle of mankind. How can you not be impressed? He's such a decent fella as well. He couldn't be a nicer man. And Janashia doesn't know what hit him. It was a car accident being duffed up by Felix there. So both men's times quite a bit slower than Hollands. Eddie the Beast. Eddie used to be pretty slow at car walking, super yoking in general, but his mobility's improved. We know Bjornsson's mobility is tremendous, but this is the event he had massive problems with last year, but does not seem to have them this time. Bjornsson riding high with the car. but it's neck and neck. Eddie Hall staying with him. I don't believe it as they cross the line. Eddie Hall must be a foot ahead. Time 12:51. Can't guarantee it, but it looked like Hall was ahead. Bjornsson, his time. Extraordinary. Oh, Eddie Hall looks a little shell-shocked. Cramp, perhaps. There's the time. Goodness. Bjornsson, 12:84. And a mighty handshake. Well, Bjornsson looks less tired. It looks like Eddie Hall gave absolutely everything there. And that's just thrown him a lifeline as Bjornsson still only takes second. And there's no man in between Hall and Bjornsson, so he'll be in the lead still after 5 events. Hall, though, first. Hollands, a solid time in third, and that cements his third-place position right now. Going into the stones, he'll duke it out with Janashia. Hall and Bjornsson. Whoever wins on the stones wins overall. Simple as that. Welcome back to the first direct arena. For the last time this year, as Europe's strongest man has 1 point in it. Hafthor Bjornsson leads Eddie Hall. Just the stones to come.
Only way to finish any strongman contest, especially Europe's strongest man, and a point in it too, is the Atlas Stones. 5 of them. You finish on the big boy at 200 kilos, 440 pounds. You start down here at this little tiddler, which is over 300 pounds, which is about 140 kilos, almost as heavy as yourself, Laurence. Reigning Europe's strongest man, and you had to pull out before your favorite event there, the car walk. You're the world record holder. What's up, Wham?
Unfortunately, a few days ago, I got ill and have been unable to keep any food down for 3 days. I was trying to be mentally strong and block it out, and just after every event, I was just getting worse and worse and worse. So rather than kind of keep going and collapse, I try and get myself ready, because we've got World's Strongest Man pretty soon. I need to get myself ready for that. And
But let's have a regal cheer for Laurence Shahlaei. I'm afraid the former Europe's strongest man, because it all comes down to this. Bjornsson and Eddie Hall, 1 point in it. I mean, it's almost down to whoever wins this becomes the new king.
It is indeed down to that, and Raffael Gordzielik, the earlier men, 4 stones in 51.17, couldn't do all 5. That's a big boy, that last one, but that's a big boy too. Luke Stoltman, 42 seconds. Mr. Belsak has the vertically challenging difficulties of being shorter. But Mark Felix, those mighty arms, 30 seconds for 5. So this battle is for third place. It's pretty close between the two of them. Hollands has a small amount of breathing room. But, if he beats Janashia, he knows he's going to get the bronze medal here. And off we go. Janashia knows if he puts up all 5, and Hollands struggles, he only gets up 4 in a slowish time, then he too could be on the podium. Let's not worry about the mathematics right now. It's Janashia, the Georgian bull, on the charge. 4 in 21.5 seconds. This to be the fastest so far on 5. No. Tortoise in the hair. The experience of Hollands. Will it come through? Terry Hollands. Yes. He's done it. A truly great British performance. 5 stones in 42.64. Come on, Konstantine. Well, seconds are evaporating, that's it. Times are only 1 minute allowed, so he doesn't get the chance to finish off in a flurry.
Terry Hollands, so many times in World Strongman history, you went to the big worlds and did really well. You about put it all aside and gave it up. Why'd you come back?
Well, for crowds like this, I mean, this strongman's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I mean, I never even dreamed that we'd have crowds like this at strongman competitions 5-10 years ago. So, you know, it's reasons like tonight that I come back, and to get on the podium is just absolutely amazing.
Well, fantastic performance right here in the Stones. Great job today. Let's hear it for Terry Hollands.
Thank you, thank you.
Terry Hollands, what a comeback, and gosh, if he doesn't do anything else in the sport, he'll be happy with that. Third place, the Europe's strongest man again. Now, Hafthor Bjornsson against Eddie Hall. It all comes down to this. Whoever wins the Stones is Europe's strongest man. Two very different characters in many, many ways. Both. All they want is this title more than anything else in the world right now. The Beast against the Mountain, and it's neck and neck on the first. The Mountain, one motions the second, but the Beast does two and the third. It's so tight. The Mountain's quicker on the fourth. Hall tries to throw it, and Bjornsson does it. 5 stones in 17.5 seconds. That is extraordinary. Eddie Hall looks slow in 23 seconds, which is the second fastest time, and he even had time to sigh. And Hall brilliantly sporting there. I have to say, Eddie Hall's doing well, not showing any disappointment, but he has to be. But how about the winner? A third title for this very impressive man.
Sounds amazing. You guys are wonderful. I would like to thank each and everyone for the support, and I would also like to congratulate all the competitors. Big hand for Eddie Hall for being a beast and pushing me through the limits. He is fantastic.
Eddie Hall, that's right. What a shout out, what a great man. Hafthor, one question. I want to know, can you win World's Strongest Man this year? How certain are you?
I've been five years in a row on the podium, and I've never been more dedicated as I am today. You know, I'm very happy. Thank you guys, thank you.
Eddie Hall in Zambia, we saw you smash your hand, and most guys would quit and go to the hospital. You just went to the next event. You didn't do so well, but you fought, and it took third place at World's Strongest Man. And we knew you were disappointed even at that performance. How much preparation have you put in and getting ready for Worlds?
Well, World's Strongest Man's my target. Obviously, I wanted to win today. It's a shame I didn't win today. Well done to Thor. Fantastic athlete, you know. He's got some health issues going on along with myself, so we both had a tough week. To pull this off today and come first and second is fantastic.
Well, Eddie Hall, first, second, third at Worlds, doesn't matter. You are a champion. Everybody loves you. Congratulations for a fantastic performance.
Thank you very much.
Well done, Eddie Hall. But an even bigger well done to the biggest man of all. 3 times Europe's strongest man, the mighty Thor Bjornsson. Winning the Stones, 5 in 17 seconds. Hall did it in 23, considerably faster than anybody else. But then again, these two were just a league ahead of the others. 2 points in it in the end. Hall having to settle for silver. Hollands gets the bronze, keeping Janashia off the podium. But it's Bjornsson who takes home that golden trophy. One of the most impressive competitions I've ever seen.
Eddie the Beast Hall and Europe's Strongest Man 2017, Hathor Bjornsson!
I believe Strongman has hit a new level.